Hi there, this is Schmidt's Kettle Corn. So today we're going to make pork skins, and I've been getting a lot of requests on to make a video of how to make pork skins in a kettle. I've actually been doing a lot of experimenting on how to make it, and today we're just going to throw them right in after we basically the same way with a kettle. You know how you throw your corn in and do the test seeds? Well, today we're going to do that with the pork skins, with the test pellets. And let me put my paddle away over here. We're actually going to use a Cajun thing here that's going to actually let me sift it out and dump it in. And this is a food safe bin over here. So people have actually asked me, what do the pellets look like if they have fat on them? This is actually what they look like. They are dry pellets, and they actually go right in the fryer, and they puff up into little chips. So once we throw them in and turn on the heat, they're actually going to puff up into like little chips. And then after we dump them in here, we're going to actually be putting seasoning on them, and we're going to be selling them and getting them ready. And today we're actually be doing 3 different flavors. We're going to be doing a salt vinegar, we're going to be doing a bacon cheddar, and we're going to be doing a plain. And then we're also going to be doing later on this week a sriracha lemon. So let's get it going, and we're going to show you how basically when I turn on the heat has to get up to between 375 and 400 degrees. I've actually determined between using them in the kettle versus actually using my own separate fryer. But with this, the process is just so easy. It's just like you know cooking the kettle corn. It's a matter of watching the rinds pop up, and then once they're done popping up, they're ready to go. And in fact, once they're actually done cooking, you actually hear them crack, and so that's actually how you know that they're made well. So we're going to turn on the heater here, and I'll show you how they're finished, and then I'll show you the process from the beginning to end. And then once they're done, I'll be seasoning them, and then you'll see there from the beginning to end and how they're bagged. So this is a little bit of a learning process here. So after a while, you actually can kind of watch the oil here. When you actually make kettle corn, it's kind of a similar process here. You can see the oil here bubble up. That's pretty much how you know it's hot enough to actually make popcorn. It's actually a very similar process when you make the pork rinds. You'll actually see them bubble up, and you throw on the test pellets there, and then that's pretty much how you know when they're ready to boil up. Pretty much once they start puffing up, that's pretty much when you know how they're ready. So after this, they'll start bubbling up. You can throw a bunch in. And in fact, here I actually noticed that I put on probably a little bit too much oil, and as time went on, I actually put in less oil, and then figured out that I can still make a lot of rinds with actually less oil. And my gold medal dealer gave me a oil bin to dump the oil in, and so with that, I was able to dump the oil, and once it cooled, because the oil will take a little bit longer to cool off on a hot day. That is the only drawback with this machine. And other than that, it heated up pretty fine. And so it does take a little bit of time to learn how to get it down. My very first time I've learned how to use this, I figured out, it took me about 3 or 4 times of figuring out how to get it to way that for me to want it to look like. And my very first time I got it, in fact, I burned them. I burned them, and then the next time I did it, I got it just the way I wanted. So after about the fourth time, I got them just the way I wanted, and they came out, and now they've come out perfect every time. And later on in the video, you actually see what they look like when they're finished. And I'm now going to be doing different seasonings. And in fact, my 3rd week now, I've been so busy selling them now. I'm going to actually come to the markets early to sell popcorn, and my products have actually been selling higher now. And my last Sunday, I sold 22 bags. My last Sunday is going to be a slow day, but I've actually ended up selling 22 bags my last Sunday, and I've been getting a lot of requests for them. So I'm hoping that this will be a good way to divide up the market. So my plan now is to get there early to the market to sell the popcorn, and then to do the rinds fresh halfway through the market. So the first half of the market, I'll plan on doing the kettle corn, getting all the flavors. So let's say you know that you do 300 to 500 each market in kettle corn. So you do that amount in kettle corn in the morning, get those out, boom, and then at the end of the day, you start doing the rinds, and then you do rinds earlier the day before. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get the handle of that down. So once you get that system down for you, you'll get the hang of it. And then the other nice benefit of the pork rinds is that they stay fresher for a lot longer than the kettle corn in these bags. I will plan on trying to do the buckets eventually. I like the idea of the buckets because they stay fresher for longer and they look nicer. So I might charge $8 for the buckets. I'm thinking that $7 is a pretty fair price point for the small bags. I'm going to have to figure out what the actual cost is eventually. I think I factored in about $144 with the small bags of how much they cost. I'll have to figure out what the actual weight is with the small bags here eventually. I'll probably do that sometime this week. But anyways, this is pretty much what they look like here, puffed up. And you can actually see it puff up, and you actually know when they're done actually by seeing the way they actually puff up, and they actually start crackling when they're done. And so that's actually how you can kind of tell when they're done. And so then here in this process, I'm actually going through the bowl here and seeing if there's any rinds that are not cooked all the way through, and going through the ones that are cooked, and going through and scooping out the ones that are fully cooked, and then making sure that the ones that aren't cooked, and basically submerging the ones that are not cooked and letting them puff up even more. I've actually learned this with the I had a smaller one that with a Cajun cooker, so, I don't know what this thing is called here, like a spoon or a ladle, that didn't do a good enough job. And then with the bigger one here, I did a much better job. And then here I am doing the ones that are already finished, and I'm putting them in the food safe bin here. And with that, that's how I know that they're done. And I'm going through and making sure that the ones that are all the way cooked all the way through, basically going through the ones that are on top and then throwing them in. And then that way I know that they're doing a pretty good job of cooking it. And with the oil, you pretty much just have to keep an eye on the oil. And then you can even cook it all the way to the top, and then turn it off, and then let them cook a little bit higher. See, there might be one or two that go through that are not cooked all the way through. So that's why sometimes start off with less is more. So I'm learning my lesson as I go along here. This is my first week actually selling the rinds, and so I've had some people in various kettle corn groups that I belong to. In fact, if you have any questions as well, the Kettle 411 has been very helpful in this aspect. And if you see here, the one on the far right here, the very puffy one here, once they're made fresh, they taste amazing. And if people see them, they say, oh, when they see them how they look and they taste them right there on the site, 90% of the time they're going to buy them. And in fact, even without even sampling them, you can just say, hey, I made them here just now, right on the site, and they're more than likely going to buy them from you. In fact, this next week I'm going to actually be making some barbecue and some maybe chipotle and some different flavors. I'm actually even running out of my salt and vinegar flavors, and so I'm going to have to order some more seasonings. But from now on, I'm going to be trying to do different flavors each week, and this has been a great adventure. I was worried about there being a lot of fat and or grease left over in the bowl, and there actually wasn't. It was actually fairly easy to clean up, but it does take a little bit of a learning curve to get used to. Of course, I'm from California. I never made them before this week. And people actually really like them. They are very well received. I've had some people say that they are the best rinds that they've ever had, and I, really like them. And so, a lot of people who are diabetic or who are on the keto diet really enjoyed eating them. And of course, these aren't your everyday rinds that you're going to see in the store that have been sitting on the shelf for 6 months. These are freshly made right on site, and that's where I'm going to stand out from the competitor. You can even zoom in on me pouring it down. There we go. Beautiful. Perfecto.
Popcorn. So we have caramel, we have white cheddar.
Pretty awesome. I will wait for it to cool down and then we can stop. All right, this is Schmitty's Kettle Corn here. This is actually what the pork rinds look like when they're finished. And then toward the end of the video, I'll actually show you what they look like bags. I actually started bagging them small, and I charged $7 for a small bag. I put a sign out saying that I advertise, and I don't know if you guys sample them or not, but I actually offer samples, and 90% of the time, if they offer a sample, they taste them being made fresh. They buy them right away. Then they never complain about the $7 price point. And I'm still going over the cost, but I think it's like about $1.43 or so a bag. It's still pretty reasonable. They're higher cost point than the kettle corn, of course, but if people are willing to pay for them, then more power to you. They're not my personal taste, but people still like them a lot. Um, and they go well with kettle corn. So this is Schmitty's kettle corn. This is what they look like. They're done. They're kind of like chips almost. They're higher in sodium, but if you like them and want to buy them, more power to you. And if you guys want to make them, you can make them right here in the kettle, and I highly encourage it. I get these from Rudolph Foods, and I buy a 65-pound box. I just got them this week, and I learned how to make them, and it's not that bad of a process. This is Schmitty's Kettle Corn. Thanks for watching. This is my first week doing pork rinds, and it's been a great success. I've already in 3 weeks sold 65 pounds of pork rinds. Please follow me and subscribe to my channel. If you want to send a donation, please subscribe and give me a donation on coffee.com. You can also send me some money through Venmo. You can also subscribe to my page on Facebook. Also on YouTube, I'm hoping to monetize here pretty soon. Thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate your support and feedback. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll try to answer them the best way I can. Thanks, guys, for watching. This is Schmitty's Kettle Corn.